I know a lot of y'all were praying on the Miami Hurricanes downfall all year long, and us Canes fan, we sure had our fun to watch the just destruction of Florida State and what looked like was going to be a terrible year for the Florida Gators, and now all of a sudden they're like one of the rising powers in college football out of nowhere. I mean, they had to put a statement out that Billy Napier wasn't getting fired. Now every statement I see from the Florida Gators is about how somebody is flipped to be the next quarterback, receiver, or linebacker for their team. It's not going well for the Canes.
Not going at all. And like to compare it with the Gators there, the NFL comparison was the Giants. The Giants put out a statement that we're keeping Brian Daboll. Don't worry about it. I'm sure they would like the results the Gators have gotten since making that statement. They haven't.
But you can't recruit in the NFL. So, and also they're winning games. Like in college football, winning games over the last 6, 7, 8, when you have no shot at the ultimate goal, it actually helps you. In the NFL, it's actually counterproductive. Like, so, I don't know. I'm sad. How about we just hop on to Get Around? How about we hop on to Get Around after an immaculate football weekend? We'll talk college football. We'll talk NFL. We'll go all across the nation, the biggest stops in football. Let's see if there's something to cheer me up here on the Get Around.
I get around. What you mean you don't know? Check me go. I get around.
The Get Around today is brought to you by the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. I'll tell you more once we talk a little ball here.
Next stop,
We're going to Syracuse, New York.
Oh, that's
The Big Apple.
not gonna. Well, nothing important happened in Syracuse over the weekend, huh?
The U went down in flames with a 42-38 collapse of a loss to the Syracuse Orange and Kyle McCord. I don't know if you knew this, but Miami actually led 21-0 in this game. They dropped all the way to 14 to the AP poll after losing. Cam Ward, despite the loss, it bumped Miami out of the ACC title game. Cam Ward contested that the Canes should still be in the college football playoff. Theo Dorsey, your thoughts?
I don't want them to go. I don't want the Miami Hurricanes to embarrass me any further. I've been singing the praises of this team since the offseason, since the Cam Ward edition, since I got to talk with them during ACC kickoff in Charlotte. I professed then that they'd be the best team in the state of Florida, which will reign true. They won the state championship. I professed then that they will be ending their season in Charlotte, North Carolina. Still possible depending on what bowl game they go.
Is there another bowl in
I'm sure there's bowl games in North Carolina they can end their season, and that's not wrong yet. But I thought they'd be ending their season, regular season in the conference championship in Charlotte, North Carolina. But a loss to Georgia Tech and a loss to Syracuse. Not only does that bounce them out of ACC title considerations, which would have been the first time ever if they were able to win it, but it also likely bounces them out of the 12-team playoff. I'm done being embarrassed by that defense. Lance Guidry, he's going to be in the unemployment line soon, looking for a new place to coach. Hate to see a guy lose his gig, but I haven't seen a defense that bad wearing those colors in a long time. And also, we wasted a year of Cam Ward. You only get one. You only get one Cam Ward. You only get 1 year of that, and they just dribbled down their leg. I can't believe it.
You've been a Canes fan for a while. I've only really focused on the Canes in the past 3 years. Am I being overdramatic and recency bias poisoned by saying this is the most disappointing Miami season?
Yeah,
it's in a long time.
It's the worst collapse. It's the worst of these past 20 years where they've had these spark years where they're like, oh, you're showing some promise. You're good. It's the worst collapse in recent Canes history over the past 2 decades, and it's because you had that guy. Cam Ward was that guy. This roster was special made, especially on the offensive side, to be able to compete and contend with any team in the nation. And also the games you lost, you still should have won. Like, there was an abysmal holding call that went against Miami on that long run that they had. You should have won that. Mario Cristobal should have made the decision to go for it on 4th down instead of taking the 3 and putting the defense back out there, because you know how bad that defensive unit is. You should have won that game. You should have beat Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets should have beat Georgia, and if Georgia Tech beats the Dogs, then the Canes likely still get in because that Tech loss looks a little bit better, and the Dogs of Georgia look a little worse. I'm at a loss for words with what happened. This Canes. I thought you know why it's worse than all the other ones? You really didn't see it coming. It felt like 3 or 4 weeks ago that the Canes were a shoo-in to at least make the conference championship game, and that Cam Ward would definitely be a Heisman finalist and damn near should be the favorite to win it. And for it to evaporate in this short amount of time against those teams, it's incredibly disheartening.
But hindsight's 20/20 because Miami showed you who they were in prime time many of times to the rest of the country.
Over and over.
Over and over, winning close games where the spread was 20+, where it really shouldn't have been a game late. It should have been a questionable Hail Mary catch or drop away.
Or a comeback against Cal.
There was
comeback against Duke.
This has got to be more disappointing than the last spike for Miami was 2016, right? Because losing to Clemson, you can live with that. Of course, the Pitt loss was
ugly. I will say this, though. It hurt even more because of how it happened against Syracuse. Like, they got the lead, and we were like, thank God, finally Miami is going to just close the game out in a normal way against the team they should beat. We were punching our tickets to Charlotte. I was actually looking like, is it reasonable? And I just don't – it's so Miami. And it's so Dallas Cowboys. They are the Dallas Cowboys of college football. And I hope that they're the last team out. I hope they're the first team out when it comes to the 12-team selection show, so then we don't have to go and get embarrassed like Florida State did in the Orange Bowl last year. The Canes have a better resume than Alabama. They're a better team than the Tide. Randy says that in our YouTube chat. Miami Hurricanes and the Alabama Tide, without a quarterback saving their tail, they're both a 500 team probably. If Alabama gets in over Miami, I'll have a problem. Other than that, I'm glad that the Canes are going to get left out.
I don't know. I'm looking at 3 loss teams in the SEC that I would much rather see. I like good wins.
I see a lot of Alabama love.
I was in South Carolina watching Clemson, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, man, I would like to see South Carolina in the college football playoff, especially over Miami.
I think they might get in over Miami. And you know what? Lenore Sellers, have a day. Cam Ward should have been able to. We're not even going to be able to get to the rest of the get around because we spent too much time on the Canes because my heart is heavy.
We can go to the PGA National. How about that?
Let's go to PGA National. Let's go to Palm Beach Gardens where the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches will be February 26th through March 2nd. That'll cheer me up. That'll put a smile back on this face. Because at the Cognizant Classic, the daily grounds passes are already out. We're less than 100 days from this tournament teeing off, and for as little as $50, you can get yourself a grounds pass to get in the gates. If you want something more elevated, a better experience, well, come on. You know we got that. All right? There's all kind of, accommodations around the bear trap and throughout. There's all kind of elevated experiences and VIP experiences. The Flamingo Club is one of them. Todd Fleming, CEO of the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. He pulls up on us every Friday and gives us more, spills out more details. So be on the lookout. There's a youth ticket policy where kids can get in free. There's a military appreciation rollout that's going to happen at the top of January. It'll give you more than a month and some change to plan for it. If you want to just check out the tickets that are available now, thecognizantclassic.com/tickets. It is the greatest time in the world because it's when the PGA Tour makes its way to Palm Beach County.